In the United Kingdom, power rests in Parliament, while the monarch serves mostly ceremonial duties. But one woman asked a dangerous question.
Oh, this country's so dull without me ruling it.
Got what you need. Here's a plan.
A plan? But hey, what about democracy and civil liberties and all those things like that?
Step 1. Weaken Parliament. Right now, the UK is a constitutional monarchy, which means that Parliament is what actually passes laws. Frankly, it's quite a bad system for absolute power. We begin by convincing people Parliament is inefficient. We spread a simple message: too much gridlock, too much arguing. Britain needs decisive leadership.
Honestly, if you ask me, Parliament's kind of annoying. But you didn't hear that from me, though.
Exactly. Public frustration creates legitimacy for change.
Interesting. So, I'm guessing a legitimacy crisis in the Parliament would translate to public unrest. This is what we need if we want a real absolute monarchy. Ugh, I'm bored. Can you just make a video? I'm pretty sure I'm a visual learner.
Sure thing, here it is.
Thanks.
Now that public trust in Parliament has declined, we must increase the legitimacy of the monarchy. Here is step 3. In a democracy, legitimacy comes from elections and popular sovereignty. In an absolute monarchy, legitimacy must come from tradition, nationalism, and political culture. We would launch a nationwide campaign portraying Queen Zoe the 17th as a symbol of unity, stability, and national identity. State ceremonies, patriotic messaging, and media appearances would strengthen the public perception that the Crown, not Parliament, is the true protector of the nation.
Interesting. So, what you're telling me is that I'll basically become Britain's celebrity. That's charismatic legitimacy for sure.
Essentially, yes. Next, we must centralize political power. This is step 3. The United Kingdom currently operates as a constitutional monarchy in which Parliament exercises legislative authority and the Prime Minister leads the executive branch. To change the system, Queen Zoe would gradually acquire executive powers that are normally exercised by elected officials. A national emergency, economic crisis, or security threat could be used to justify temporary emergency powers. Throughout history, many authoritarian regimes have expanded executive authority by claiming extraordinary measures were necessary to preserve order and stability.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of that before. I know that in Germany, in the 1930s, Hitler often used the events that Germany went through during World War I and after World War I to say that it needed a strong, charismatic leader. It started off with limiting freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and protection from arbitrary arrests. Soon afterward, he passed the Enabling Act, which gave Hitler's government the power to make laws without parliamentary approval. I feel like I can draw inspo from this.
Sure, that could be the official explanation. Alright, moving on to step 4. Every democracy relies on institutions that limit the concentration of power. The strongest obstacles to absolute monarchy would be Parliament, the judiciary, opposition parties, and independent media organizations. To overcome these obstacles, Queen Zoe would gradually reduce their ability to challenge royal authority. Parliament could lose oversight powers. The judiciary would be filled with loyal appointees. Media organizations critical of the Crown could face increasing regulation. Once democratic checks have been weakened, the final step is consolidation. Authoritarian regimes survive by maintaining control over key institutions. The monarchy would place loyal supporters throughout the bureaucracy, cabinet, military leadership, and civil service. Political opposition would become increasingly marginalized. Elections might continue to exist, but they would have little influence over actual decision-making. This process would transform the United Kingdom from a liberal democracy into a competitive, authoritarian, or fully authoritarian regime.
Perfect. Music to my ears. So, from research that I just did and from what you're telling me, if this plan succeeds, the UK might initially appear more stable because political decisions would not have to face gridlock in parliamentary decision making. However, over time, the insane concentration of power in my hands would likely weaken the government's accountability and reduce civil liberties. Citizens would have fewer opportunities and to influence the elections, protests, or political parties. Because the United Kingdom has a strong democratic political culture, like right now, and a long history of constitutional government, resistance from society, the media, international organizations would probably emerge. And as a result, this might not really last, would it? Oh, who am I kidding? This is totally gonna last. This is a perfect idea. I don't know what came over me.
It's just perfect. And that's it. Everything you need to know to become the absolute monarch of Britain. I can't wait as we rise to the top.
Yeah, thank you so much, but I don't know. I kind of feel like you've been plotting against me this whole time. I think it's time for you to get executed. Bye.